Persuasion. You hear the word, and I want to ask you a tough question. For you, is that word a little bit more negative or a little bit more positive? It's been my experience that most people hear the word persuasion, and for them, it's a little bit more negative. Haven't we all been persuaded to do something we otherwise shouldn't do, or buy something that someone knows isn't going to work or may not work after we buy it? Well, I'm here today to persuade you that we might be wrong about the word persuasion. I want to teach you what persuasion is, why it's important, and how you can use it to build your business, make more sales, build a stronger team, and keep a stronger team. Now, as I speak, I'm going to give you a tip as I get started. There's 3 questions you should get in the habit of always asking yourself as you hear someone speak, or you read a book, or you spend time with a mentor. Those 3 questions are, based on what I just heard, is there something I need to stop doing? Or is there something I need to start doing? Or is there something I need to maybe do more of what I'm already doing? So I always think about a traffic light. Now, what's interesting about persuasion is I have noticed, as I've studied human nature, and particularly salespeople, is that most people tend to sell the way they're comfortable buying. Most people tend to present in a way that they like to be presented to. Maslow said, when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything starts looking like a nail. What I'm here today is to convince you that maybe we need to add some tools to our toolbox. And there's a lot of ways we can persuade people, and hopefully in a positive way. I want to tell you a little story about a guy named Ed. Ed is one of my best friends. When Ed first met me, I was 49 years old. My cholesterol was 327, my blood pressure was through the roof, and I was fat. I had a 38-inch waist, I was huge, and I was completely out of shape. Ed persuaded me to do something that changed my life. He got me to join CrossFit. Now, I went from a couch potato of 25 years of doing nothing to doing the most evil, killing workouts anybody could do. And 2 years later, 51 years old, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm actually in better shape right now than I was when I was 18 when I marched out of boot camp. That's pretty amazing. Now, if it wasn't for Ed persuading me to do something that took me completely out of my comfort zone, made me sore, made me tired, and made me really unhappy, I may not even be here today. Because when my doctor gave me my results, he said, I will bet my house you don't have 10 more years. Now my doctor is CrossFitting. How's that for persuasion? So, my question to you is, do you like being persuaded? And I'll bet your initial reaction is no. But it depends on who's persuading you and what they want for you. So my question to you is, do you want more customers? Do you want to build a better team? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to have more impact? If the answer is yes to any of those questions, I'm going to persuade you to learn about persuasion today. You see, my promise to you is many. I can help you widen your reach. I can help you help other people make more and more positive decisions. And if you were able to do that, what would that do for your business? And the thing I love about positive persuasion, it will not only make you a better business builder, it will make you a better spouse, a better parent, and a better friend. Now, those are big promises. Let's see what we can learn about that. There's one key word that's behind the word persuasion, and it's the biggest word in my life. Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about it a lot. It's intention. Before I go into a conversation with anyone, I get my intention straight, and I actually pray a little prayer. And my prayer is this: please let me find some way to help that person. I don't care how. I don't care if they don't buy what I'm selling, but maybe I could recommend a book. Maybe I could recommend another expert. Maybe I could recommend that they start doing or stop doing something that's either good or bad for them. But I want to help this person. If you get your intention straight, it changes every one of your conversations, and they get better and better and better. And it's been my experience, because I'm a voracious reader, that every once in a while, as you continue to read and learn and grow, something comes along that completely changes your paradigm. For me, that was a simple concept I learned called the Platinum Rule. The Platinum Rule was a book written by Dr. Tony Alexander and Michael O'Connor. And the Platinum Rule is a more modern, sensitive version of the Golden Rule. The Platinum Rule says to do unto others as they would have you do unto them, or treat people the way they want to be treated. What an aha moment for me. I immediately became more outwardly focused. I began thinking about what does the other person want, what is good for them. All my conversations started changing. And the thing that I loved most about the Platinum Rule was that it taught me how to watch someone during our conversations, and with unerring accuracy, I could predict when and how they would make a decision. Stop and think about that. What advantages would you have in building your business if you could predict with almost 100% accuracy when and how that person was going to make a decision about what you were offering them to decide upon? You see, the platinum rule was so simple and effective for me. I was in my 11th year running my business. Within 4 months of learning this one skill they teach called adaptability, I tripled my sales within 4 months. I'm going to say that again. I tripled my sales within 4 months of my 11th year of being in business because of one concept called the platinum rule. The platinum rule is so simple to apply, anybody can do it. I'll teach it to you in the next 2 minutes. You're only paying attention to 2 dimensions in someone's behavior while you're talking with them: their speed and their temperature. Pretend everybody's got a dashboard on their forehead. Speed, temperature, it's that simple. When I get someone talking, I notice their pace. They talk fast, they like to make quick decisions, bingo. The more expressive they are, the more firm they are, the faster they talk, they make fast decisions. So I don't mind asking them to make a decision right on the spot. The other dimension you have to pay attention to is temperature. Are they warm or are they cool? Warm people are like an open book, easy to read, easy to get to know. They're very friendly, they're more contact oriented, they're the touchy-feely people. They smile a lot of facial expression. They tend to make their decisions emotionally. Some people are more cool or guarded. They don't talk as much. They're more poker-faced. When they do speak, they don't speak as much. These people make intellectual decisions. Now, think about how impactful that could be. All you have to do is adapt to their pace, and if someone is being very quiet, slow-paced, they're taking it all in, very cooperative, they need time and space to make their decisions, I leave them alone. I circle back in a few days to see how it seems to them. Is that something you want to do? If someone's being confident, assertive, taking over the conversation, I just let them make a decision on the spot. It's almost like cheating. Those are one of the things we're going to teach you when you become a subscriber to Relationship Express. There's more I want to teach you. So let's talk about another concept. Did you know that there are 5 phases that you can go through as you help another person make a decision, whether it's to join your team or buy your product? 5 phases. If you can master these, every conversation will go better for you. The first phase is you want to connect with the other person. I do this by asking questions, getting to know them, getting them talking about themselves. Then I begin exploring their situation, their wants, their needs, their goals, their fears, their desires. Because as I'm exploring with them, I'm seeing the world the way they see it. I'm beginning to decide, is my opportunity right for them or is it not? And if the opportunity might be right for them, then we begin collaborating, the third, together. I'm going to present some options for you, and you and I are going to go through these options together. Put your ideas with my ideas, and together we're going to select the best possible option for you. And once we're done collaborating, then I'm going to help you clarify your commitments. You said that you will do this, but I'm going to help you do this. And then you're going to do this, but I'm going to help you do this. You're committing to pay this. I'm committing to deliver this value back to you. Are we crystal clear on who needs to do what by when for you to be successful? And then the last phase of every conversation is assuring. I'm going to go back over everything we talked about. I want to make 100% sure that you have made the best possible decision for you. And I want to teach you how to master these conversations so that as you get to know people and spend time with them, they begin liking and trusting the conversations because there's no pressure. There's no pressure to buy. You might even be recommending that they don't take advantage of your opportunity. One of the other things I want to share with you that most people don't know, did you know there are 6 laws of persuasion? And they always work? A guy named Robert Cialdini wrote a book called Influence, The Power of Persuasion. There are 6 predictable laws that you can put in your toolbox. I want to teach you about the law of reciprocity, on how when you give, the more you give, the more you get. There is the law of commitment and consistency. If by asking questions I get you to tell me something that you want to do, later on when I ask you to take advantage of the opportunity to get that what you said you wanted, you can't say no. I've never seen anyone argue with their own idea. There's the law of liking, of treating people so well that they just like you and they want to do what you suggest they do. There's the law of authority, which we'll never use, the law of scarcity, which we don't need, and the law of social proof, which is really testimonials. But imagine how much more persuasive you'll be if you could just master 2 or 3 of the laws of persuasion. Now, based on what I just covered, ask yourself 3 questions. Is there something I need to stop doing? Is there something maybe I need to start doing? Is there something I need to keep doing more that is working? So what are some of the attributes of really persuasive people? Well, going back to my buddy Ed, I can tell you Ed walks his own talk. So every time I go into CrossFit, guess who's there? Ed. Anytime Ed recommends that I read a book, I ask him what's in it because he's already read it. So if you're going to do for someone, make sure they see you doing it as well. The most persuasive people I know ask interesting questions and they listen well. They have mastered a Socratic method of having a conversation. Everything that comes out of their mouth is another question. Why? Because they want the other person to sell themselves. They don't ever want someone to feel like they're being sold to. They want someone to feel like they're buying. Quick story about Ed. After about 3 months of getting great results, I stopped going to CrossFit. My subconscious mind kicked in and said, this is good for us. Let's not do that. Ed came and took me to lunch and sat down. He said, help me understand what you're doing. And he used this method called the Oreo cookie, where he praised me, chided me, and praised me again. So he said, Scott, I see you in Toastmasters every week. You're fantastic. I saw you CrossFitting. You're starting to look good and feel good. And he said, I know you can accomplish anything, so help me understand. Where did you go? And by the end of the conversation, I talked myself into having Ed pick me up at 5:15 every morning and drag me, kicking and screaming, back into the gym until it became a habit. And Ed, because he's persuasive, got me to sell myself on the habit of daily exercise. Didn't do much for me, just saved my life, that's all. Persuasive people are extremely well-read. They spend time every day stretching themselves and learning new things. Why? Because they want to be able to share more with other people, recommend a book, recommend an idea. Persuasive people will correct you privately and praise you publicly. Ed took me to lunch one-on-one and basically got me to convince myself to change my habits. And as soon as I made those changes, Ed got up in Toastmasters and said, I'm really proud of my friend Scott. He's taking charge of his life and he's doing these things and I'm proud of him. There was no way I was going to go back on my word after someone praised me publicly. So if you are counseling anybody on your team, counsel them privately, but praise them in front of the group. Now, in every one of our conversations, I'm sure we've all experienced pushback, right? As soon as we come up with an idea, someone gives us a reason why it won't work. I'm going to give you some tips right now on how to eliminate or reduce pushback. The first thing you can do is share your own struggles. Show a little fallibility. You're not perfect at what you do. Nobody is. So I always share with somebody how I struggle in a certain area, and then I apply that to what I want them to maybe improve on. Try using softening statements. If you're in a conversation with someone, you're trying to persuade or convince them, don't say, you should, or why aren't you? Say, you know, I once read somewhere, but I'm not sure if I remember this correctly. What do you think about this? Or it's only my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I was just thinking this. What do you think? Or create a third thing to take the pressure off the two of you. Instead of it being me and you, create a third thing and say, I know this other person and she's struggling with this. I'm trying to help her this way, even though I really mean it for you. I'm trying to help her this way. What do you think about what we're accomplishing? Create a third thing. Take the pressure off them. The other thing is to present possibilities for other people. You know, we could try this, maybe we could try this, maybe we could try this. What do you think? People like possibilities. They don't like yes or no type decisions. And the other thing is be reasonable about time and progress. If I'm trying to persuade someone to maybe stop smoking, I might say, you know, I don't think maybe you could do that today. I know that when I quit twice, I wasn't able to just flip a switch. I had to work at it and work at it and work at it. Do you think it might be possible that maybe by Christmas, we might be able to kick this habit if we got started today? What do you think? And I just move it out there a little bit for them, and then I reward any little progress. I encourage them and nurture them, knowing that this might take time. Persuasive people are helpful, and they're patient, and they're persistent. So I want to share with you the one concept that changed my life. In 1998, May, in fact, my business coach gave me a book called The Success Journey by John Maxwell, and there was one quote I want to share with you because I'm trying to persuade you to pick up a new habit today. That quote said, you're no different in 5 years than you are today, except for two things: the books you read and the people you meet. It was by Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I literally put the book down and I thought, what books have I been reading? Stephen King novels and the like. Stephen King's a great writer. I do miss reading his novels, but I haven't read one since May of 1998. I began reading self-help books, books on psychology, on business, on selling, on marketing. And I began a daily reading habit, 1 hour a day, 7 days a week minimum. So for 15 years, imagine how many books I've read. I stand before you a completely different man than I was 15 years ago. I hope I'm better for it. My new friends tell me I am, because I pay careful attention to the people I meet and the people that I spend time with. So if I could encourage you to do one thing to be more persuasive and more successful, sharpen your own saw. 1 hour a day. In less than 5 years, you can become the world's leading authority in any subject. Jim Cathcart taught me that in one of his speeches. 1 hour a day, in less than 5 years, you can become the world's leading authority in any subject you're choosing. And you know who makes a lot of money? Authorities. Now, I modified Charlie's quote a little bit, and I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with him before he graduated, and I asked for his permission to do this, because I love using his quote in every speech. I say, and I'll say it again, you are no different in 5 years than you are today, except for two things: the books you read and the people you meet. I modified it. It's what you choose to put into your head and your heart. What you choose to read, what you choose to listen to, the people you choose to spend time with. What habits you choose to replace. I chose to give up bad foods for good foods. I chose to give up the remote on the couch for a kettlebell. Habits are hard to drop, but they're easier to replace. Get rid of one, pick up a better one. The people you choose to emulate, the people you choose as your friends, and the amount of effort each day you choose to put in your own personal growth. So I want to close with one other thing that very successful persuasive people do, which is very hard to do in direct selling, and that is to follow up and follow through. After each of your conversations, you want to follow up with that person in about a week to see what they think about your opportunity. And with our system, we've made it fun. We have invented a mobile app that after your conversation, you put them into our app, and guess what happens? The next day, they receive a thank you email from you, followed up by a series of helpful articles to help them with their personal development that will help make them better, whether they say yes, no, or not now. You will be sending them helpful things that do what? That make your next conversation go better. Because you may not persuade them that day, but you can persuade them months or even years down the road. And after all, Relationship Express is about changing your brand from being a seller to a helper, and I can't wait to help you get there. Thank you.